So when you look down at that then, that's like an X.
It is. This is one of my ex-favorite numbers. For a while, my favorite number was 3,435. And I say for a while because I don't think a favorite number is, you don't commit to a favorite number for life, to be honest. Very few things do I have a static opinion on what is my favorite, other than my girlfriend. Whereas 3435 for a while there was one of my top number. And I'll show you why, 34. And actually, it probably had a bit of a record run as being my favorite number, 3,435. It's called a Munchausen number. And what you do for a Munchausen number is you raise each of the digits to the power of that digit. So 3 to the 3, plus 4 to the 4, plus 3 to the 3, plus 5 to the 5. And if you then add 3 to the 3, plus 4 to the 4, plus 3 to the 3, plus 5 to the 5, it equals 3, 4, 3, 5. It equals itself. It's a bit like a narcissistic number, which I'm sure people will be talking about, except this time each number is obsessed with itself. And in fact, it's named, the Munchausen that's named after was a narcissistic character. And so it's a very, very narcissistic number. And what's even better about it is it's the only one. In base 10, this is the only number which has that property. Well, it was the only number that has that property. If you look up online, whenever you talk about the Munchausen number and you talk about 3435, someone will come along and say, yeah, but what about 438,579,088? Huh? What about that?
Yeah,
because
I was just about to say that.
It wasn't the tip of your tongue, wasn't it? Because 4 to the 4, plus 3 to the 3, plus 8 to the 8, plus 5 to the 5, plus 7 to the 7, plus 9 to the 9, plus 0 to the 0, plus 8 to the 8, plus 8 to the 8 equals 438,579,088. And people are all up in your grill with what up with this. And there is a problem with that. There's a reason why that makes me emotional, and I'll show you why. It is this bit here, 0 to the 0. This relies on 0 to the 0 equaling 0. And it turns out 0 to the 0 does not equal 0. Nor does it equal 1 for that matter. 0 to the 0 is undefined. There is no value for 0 to the 0 because anything to the 0 equals 1 and 0 to the anything equals 0, and when both of those things happen at once, you basically have a big argument, and people get very emotional about this. If you want to find equally core numbers, there are things like 4155, which equals the digits at the bottom, 4155 to the power of the same digits, but not necessarily in the same order. So if you put them up as in 5, 4, 1, 5, that still holds, but you've got to shuffle the digits around when you raise them up the top.
You mentioned to me that was your favourite number for a long time.
Yeah.
It was your favourite number for possibly a record time.
It must have been 7 or 8 months. It was up there, it was good.
What happened? Why'd you break up?
It was fun, but I got bored. I got bored. And I went back to the safety of narcissistic numbers for a while, so 371 took over for a substantial period of time. And then I wanted to go back into perfect numbers for a while, so 33,550,336 took back over. And at the moment, it's 764. But that's because it's a grafting number. But this is not the time nor the place to talk about grafting numbers.